Hi, and welcome to a rant about annoying cop-outs in which I discuss discussion shutdowns that grate on me, and in this episode I'll talk about "it's just a joke," which is usually said by someone who is caught saying something inexcusable and to avoid having to take any responsibility for it. The phrase "it's just a joke" goes by other names like "learn how to take a joke" and "I was just joking," and it's also both a gaslighting phrase and a horrendous form of mental abuse known as invalidation. This phrase downplays the harm caused by what was said and dismisses the pain of those who are hurting, which makes it hurt even more than the original insult. And yes, some actual jokes themselves can really hurt people. A rampant example of this is how man children often accuse the left as a whole of somehow not knowing how to take a joke and telling the left to somehow learn how to take a joke, as in the reactionary claim that the left somehow wants to ban all comedy. An infamous form of the far right telling hurtful jokes on purpose to upset the left is mocking trans and non-binary gender pronouns, ranging from attack helicopter jokes about sexually identifying as an attack helicopter to Gina Carano's infamous boop bop beep. Now, former US President Donald Trump has often said it's just a joke when people caught him and his followers saying something nasty about, say, marginalized groups of people. In August 2015, when called out for filming and exploiting his grandfather's heart attack and death to push a vegan agenda, Richard Burgess, aka Vegan Gains, literally threatened to cut Mr. Repsion's throat while showing a weapon on camera. When called out on it, he said that it was somehow just a joke, despite the fact that it was in reality what is known as a threat. And yes, people have used the "it's just a joke" excuse against me as an excusing confused Matthew's initial cruel and abusive remarks about Simba, like someone needs to eat this thing, when I pointed out how immature and wrong it was to talk like that. My charges against that past talk of hurting and killing Simba out of anger was made even stronger by the fact that confused Matthew himself stopped talking like that by 2014 as to be less antagonistic in his Lion King re-review. My critics, like the turfy now Michelana, only said such remarks were just a joke to shut down my harsh criticism that they didn't want to put up with. OT fanboys often excuse the Plinkett reviews of the Star Wars prequels, which really had dark humor about a fictional serial killer sprinkled within, as just satire slash comedy, despite the mountains of actual vitriol directed against the Star Wars prequels, Star Wars prequel fans, and even George Lucas in those so-called reviews. Usually when people say it's just a joke or any other variation of such to legit complaints about what they say, they know full well it wasn't. But even if it really were, the joke in question was unfunny and hurtful and thus should be called out and the person saying it held accountable. Dark humor is one thing, but excusing inexcusable things you or someone else says as just a joke is something else entirely. If you or someone else makes threats, mocks marginalized people to maintain privilege, or any other nasty remark and someone else calls it out, don't you dare excuse it as somehow being just a joke when it clearly isn't. Thanks.